Shabbat Shalom, everybody. My name is Jason.
I'm Caden. I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahuwah and the Torah channel. And we thank you guys very, 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 very much for joining us, for hanging out with us on our little digital table here as we celebrate the day that our Creator has given to us as a sign for His people. A sign that, if you will, keep the Shabbat day, that He will bless us. This is the only day of week that we are actually blessed. There's only one day of week that we are told as a people that is a sanctified day, a set apart day. And it is these days that we are sitting here, that we are praising our Creator, that we are going through His laws, statutes, and commandments. We are going through His word, His beautiful word. And we thank you guys for being a part of this family. Cade, will you please open us up in prayer?
So Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for blessing us. We thank you for bringing this family all together once again to celebrate your day, to enjoy your day, to have rest on this day. And we ask that it's blessed, that it's kind of a blessing towards us, towards this virtual family we have, this family all around this table. And I ask that as we dive into your word today, that you open our eyes to see the meanings that you have put before us, see the Torah, see the commands, see the words your Son had put out for us. And we thank you for this day in His name. Amen.
Okay, all right. So here we are. Jade, will you please, before we begin on this, actually hit it up, will you? Shema.
Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. And you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, with all your being, and with all your might. And all these words I command you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and shall bind them as a sign and on your hand, and they shall glance between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
All right. So here we are, guys. We have a beautiful, beautiful set of commands. We have inside of Deuteronomy 6, we have one of the most amazing verses inside of a very, very amazing chapter. And what we're going through, what we're going to be going through, is we're going to be going through what I consider the greatest set of words that have ever been given to mankind. And most of the people of the world, they don't know what these words are because they don't care about them. And when you don't care about them, it's a problem, because we are out attempting to do whatever we can to do to secure our own souls. From what we can read from Scriptures, these first 5 books, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, are the guideposts for our lives. They are absolutely the greatest things that we can have that we've been given. And inside of them, the words that we are given consist of health. It consists of spiritual health. It consists of family health. It consists of everything. And inside of these 5 books, if we were not raised with a parent, we could get through this crazy world just simply by going through these and knowing these laws, statutes, and commandments. Now, before we go through these, Ms. Nicole, will you please say hi to all of our friends, family, and people out there?
Yes. All right. We have Sarah Baker, Candy and Ruby, Paul E. CBD. Welcome.
What's up, Donna? How you doing, sis?
Myro Slaw. It's a new name. Welcome to you. And then we also have Charles, Walking His Way, Sylvia. I don't know if I said Sylvia already. Regina, and then we have Ronald, which is also a new name.
All right. Well, there we go. And let us begin into the greatest things that we can possibly do. We're going to go through these, and we go through them as a family. As a family, I would encourage us all not to go speed through these, that these are very, very important. And we go through them a lot. And so for us, we kind of speed through them. But for a lot of you guys out there, a lot of these are new. Now, there is for Donna, who's out there. Hi, sis. Just so you know, I just did a video right before we did Shabbat that took like about a lot of time. But I answered all of your questions, and I'm going to premiere this in a couple of hours. And it's going to be the special Donna segment where I go through all of this, and we answer a lot of questions. But if you guys have any questions anywhere as we go through these laws, statutes, and commandments, let's go over this. And I explained this as Donna was wondering where the commandment for love is. Where's the commandment, Messiah's commands inside of this? And as I explained to Donna in various places here, is that when we first started doing these laws, statutes, and commandments, there was no place anywhere on the internet that we could find what the laws of our Creator were. All we had was what they told us in Judaism, which was there's like 600 some laws. And then when we went to look through them and read them, they were mixed and matched. They were all over the place. It was like one command. There was like 3 times in there for one single command. And so us and our family, what we decided to do many, many moons ago is to go through from the beginning of Genesis all the way to Deuteronomy over and over and over. And then we put all the commands, the actual commands that we could find that we can do today in them. And so this is a foundational basis for a beginning of your faith walk using the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. So once we have this foundational block, once we have this as literally a litmus test of our life, then the rest of scriptures are going to come alive. The rest of what our Messiah says will come alive. But we can't have one without the other. You don't have a Messiah if you don't have the scriptures, if you don't have the Torah. Because our Messiah very, very clearly says in his books that if you're lawless, which means you are not walking in the ways of our Creator, that he will tell you to depart from him. And in fact, Matthew 7 says this twice. And I'd like to go into this real quickly because these laws, statutes, and commandments are the ones that will basically doom us or not doom us. And right here, we'll start right here on 22, Matthew 7, 22. Many shall say to me on that day, Adonai, Adonai, have we not Nabu? Have we not prophesied in your name and cast out demons in your name and done many mighty works in your name? And then I shall declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work iniquity, you who work lawlessness, you who work in abomination. Know what the laws of our Creator are unless you go through Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. So right here in Matthew 7, we're told to go to hell. Now also in Matthew 7, 26, Messiah tells us again, right here, 27, then I shall declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness. And so here we are trying to get a fine basis for these laws, statutes, and commandments. And again, they're super amazing. They're super easy to keep. They are not bondage. We've been lied to. Every man that's dressed up in a Sunday church with his little digs on telling us the laws are over, he's a demon. He's infested with demons, and he's telling people lies. So here's the truth. Let us begin. Commandment number 1. And again, these are in order in which they are found in scriptures. These are not the greatest to the least. These are the commandments in order. Continuing on. That many of them would be grouped together as one commandment. Yeah, there's a lot of them. And as you guys will see here, like take for instance this commandment right here that says guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments. Look at the many times it's been reiterated, guys. Look at this. Look at it over and over and over. 2.5 pages, like 2.5 pages we've been told to guard the covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments. And what do we do as Christianity? We nail it to the tree. We take it to the cross. It's all gone. It means nothing to us because it's the old ways of Moses, right? And again, those are lies that come from the mouths of demons. Here we go. Yeah, it is sad we've been lied to for so long. It is. It's absolutely. But you're talking 4 billion different religions, or 4 billion people out there keeping so-called Christianity. 9 billion people. Everybody's got a different religion, but nobody keeps scriptures according to what the book actually says. Commandment number 1, an amazing one that our Creator has given to us at the beginning and said, I want you guys to be fruitful.
Multiply. Replenish the earth.
Subdue it. Have you been over the fish, fowl, and every living creature?
You're bearing in every tree is for food.
Men and women should build their own families.
Master sin.
Every clean moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
Do not eat the blood.
Walk before me and be perfect.
Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments.
Okay, reiterated 2.5 pages over and over and over. There's not a single command anywhere in scriptures that is reiterated this many times. I promise you, I give you my word. That's the command. Okay, every male shall be circumcised at 8 days old.
Teach children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations.
Keep the Passover, Pesach.
Keep the feast of unleavened bread, the festival matzah.
There is one Torah for the stranger and one for the Hebrew.
Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven images.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught.
Okay, let's take a look at this real quick because this is one of the questions in Donna's emails, and I do appreciate everybody who sends in emails. My apologies if it takes a bit to get back to them. Sometimes it does take a bit, especially if they're loaded up ones. But one of the things is there's all these things that when you are in especially the religion of Judaism will absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, not let you say the name of our Creator. Now, what we should all understand is the name of our Creator and His Son is in Paleo-Hebrew. This is not English. So if we're sitting here discussing an English name of something that was never ever an English name, that's not a good argument. So we have the name of our Creator, which we say is Yahuwah, right? A lot of people say Yahweh. A lot of people will say a different way. it's far closer than them actually taking the name out and putting in God, right? So there's lots of gods. There's uppercase G's, lowercase G's. There's uppercase Elohim. There's lowercase Elohim. And when we have do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught, we have thousands of times in all of these scriptures that they put the wrong name. They put a name of a surtitle of a man. Saying God, it's like Mr. Yahuwah. It's like God Yahuwah. That's what it is saying. And so when we have all brought the Yahuwah's name to naught, and this is not supposed to be a hidden thing. It's not supposed to be we can't say the name of our Creator. We don't have a commandment anywhere that says that we should not be shouting the name of our Creator out. This is what his gig is. This is his mission. This is his creation. We are his people. We should absolutely be shouting out the commander-in-chief in our army, which is Yahuwah. Okay, next one, keep the Sabbath day. Amazing commandment, full of amazing things, but yet we have, 3 billion different people that are keeping a Sunday, probably more than that. The day of the sun, right? Sol Victus. A satanic day is the day that the Christians have replaced by their own words to be the day of the Lord, because they believe that Messiah rose on a Sunday, that they can now change the words of our Creator and take a day that's blessed and make it the greatest retail day of all week, right? Everybody goes out shopping on Saturday. That's the day we go. That's the day we do all this. Continuing on, honor your parents.
Do not kill.
Do not break wedlock.
Do not steal.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbors.
Do not make an altar from rock that a tool is touched.
Do not go up the altar by the steps.
If a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times.
Yahuwah's laws are criminals.
Do not lie with beasts.
No sacrifice to other Elohim.
Do not oppress the stranger, fatherless, or widow.
Do not charge your brother interest.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return to him before sunset.
Do not curse the ruler of your people.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
No false report.
Do not follow the multitude of evil.
Do not judge unrighteously against the poor.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray.
Help the animals of your enemy.
Stay away from rumors and gossipers.
Take no bribes.
Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger.
Live your land rest in the 7th year.
Do not mention any pagan names.
Keep the feasts of Yahuwah.
Do not.
Okay, let's go back real quick to do not mention any pagan names. This is one I want to touch on that Donna was talking about. Donna comes out of like the real occult, like the real standing in the middle of a pentagram. And I've met a lot of people that have actually literally been part of this, and the stories that always come out of it, it always involves a pentagram, and it always involves some sort of weirdo bloodletting stuff. And the stuff that the I guess the Satanists or the people who are against the hand of our Creator do are crazy. It is completely crazy. But she mentioned it, that do not mention any pagan names. How does she talk? How do we talk about things like Baal? How do we tell people not to worship Baal? And what do we make of this command? So here's something that we should consider, is that we know that our Messiah never ever sinned, right? Whatever he did not sin. He was unable well, he was able to sin, but he did not sin. And if this was what our understanding is, if it's mentioning the name of Baal like this, then he sinned. He became a massive sinner. He was talking about these foreign mighty ones as well. What this is talking about is this is like, we shouldn't be raising up in the morning and telling our kids, let's go offer a cult. Let's go offer the horse or something to Moloch, right? Let's not bring this kind of stuff, right? The common words of these false deities should not be a part of our life. It's not something that we would mention by way of our daily basis, right? It has nothing to do with our life. And so if we're sitting here discussing this, going off on this, and it is part of our life, that's the problem, right? So it's not that you're saying the name or you're trying to teach other people that this is what it is. It is it's a lot different than this, right? We're not to be part of in this. And Donna says, I was initiated under the Hermetic Kabbalah under Crowley's religion, Thelmia, and I was LaVeyan Satanist. So that's Anton LaVey. So this she was the real deal, right? She grew up in the absolutely real deal. For those who do not know who Aleister Crowley is, he was considered one of the most evil people that have ever walked these lands. In fact, Barbara Bush is the granddaughter of Aleister Crowley, for anybody that didn't actually know that. And so here we go. This is the amazing thing when we talk to people that have ridden the other side of the darkness. And we're about to release a book very soon. It's called The Testament of Solomon. And it's one of these things that it's kind of sketchy when you first read it, because you realize how much of a black magician occultist Solomon was. And how you have in Christianity, everybody's like, oh, he was so wise, he was so good, he was just a great king. He wasn't a great king. He was a terrible dude. He was a horrible person. He was a terrible husband, horrible king. In fact, he got the entire reigns of Israel ripped into 2 separate kingdoms because this guy was so foul. And so there's no hero mode to Solomon at all. A lot of what the people understand from the occult came from Solomon and his Freemason links and all of these links within the occult. It's a horrible thing. And for those who do not know what the occult means simply hidden, and that's what it means. And so when people are in the occult, it's about signs and symbols and about the stuff that's being done in the hidden that manifests in the physical form in front of us, and it absolutely does. Again, I've met these people that have stood inside of these pentagrams, and I've listened to their stories. Stuff happens, right? There's a reason we're told not to do this. And continuing on, Donna's my favorite gal in here right now. She had a book called Keys of Solomon, has Solomon's seal ring, which is a magic thing. And that's exactly right? In the book that we're doing, the Testament of Solomon, it's talking about, it literally has a pentagram. The very first, like the second verse on that shows the devices that he was doing, and Solomon was literally controlling the jinn, which is, it's a demon, right? It's a demon thing. So this stuff's real. This is all legitimate stuff. This is why we want to seek our Creator where he's able to be found, because when we are in covenant with our Creator, when we are doing what he wishes us to do, then the extracurricular things that are trying to take us out will not have the same kind of power. Continuing on. Keep the feast of Yahuwah. Do
Do
not
not cook your goat in his mother's milk.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim.
Serve Yahuwah.
Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make use of anointing oil on an old person. Do not make use of perfume on an old person.
Do not eat the fat.
Do what you say you are going to do.
Return what is your neighbor's.
Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws.
Women's time of separation.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws.
Keep the Day of Atonement, Yom HaKippurim.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for a wife.
Do not lie with a woman in her uncleanness.
You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch.
Do not be a sodomite.
Be Kodesh.
Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not clean your vineyard.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar.
Pay your workers the day's wage they are due.
Do not harm the disabled.
Do not endanger your neighbor.
Do not hate your brother.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Okay, there's love your neighbor as yourself. And I was talking to Donna. She's like, I don't see that love your neighbor as yourself in there. So there it is right there. And this is one of these things that in the comments, you hear this a lot, right? When somebody walks up to you and slaps you across the face, you're to sit there and take that, right? That's turning the other cheek. And I've never found that quite in scriptures. I've never seen something quite like that. We know of certain times and situations when it is wise to turn the other cheek. So when let's say, for instance, if somebody has grabbed us and captured us and they're going to kill us in the name of our Creator, and they're sitting there punishing us and torturing us, and that's basically our end fate, then that would be the end fate, right? That's the time that we stand for our Creator. But when somebody comes up to you and puts hands on you and they're slapping you and beating you senseless, and you're sitting there wondering if you should love your neighbor, number one, we have to identify who our neighbor is. How we identify our neighbor. How do we identify our neighbor? Who's our family?
Those who keep the commandments of Yahuwah.
Those who keep the commandments of Yahuwah. That's who our neighbor and that's who our family is. And so it's not that we're not supposed to love everybody else, but in the event that somebody's coming up and laying hands on you and you don't defend yourself, I don't see that anywhere. In fact, I see Messiah talking a lot about that. If you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one, friends. Sometimes it's not all about the goody-goody letting yourself getting beat down, and I just don't find that. And maybe you guys in the chat have other conditions or something that you guys would like to bring up on that, but I don't see us as sitting there taking a beating as the right way forward. Continuing on, but that's my opinion. I don't have things with this. Continue on, folks. Do not diverse your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed.
Do not mingle linen and wool.
Do not lie with a second woman.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years.
Do not practice sorcery.
Do not round your beard or the corner of your head.
Do not cut yourself for the dead.
Do not get tattoos.
Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple.
Do not consult the medium.
Respect your elders.
Have correct weights and measures.
Do not walk in the manners of the nations.
Keep the feast of first fruits, Shavuot, or recount Pentecost.
Keep the feast of trumpets, Yom Teruah.
Keep the feast of Sukkot, Shemi Atzeret.
You blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another.
Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Obel, the Jubilee year.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay who you trespassed against.
The Torah of being a Nazir.
Wear as easy on the four corners of your garments.
The law of whoever touches the corpse.
Follow Yahuwah's law of inheritance.
The Torah of keeping your oath to Yahuwah.
Do not add or take away from the word.
Guard your soul.
Learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart.
Bind the laws upon your hand and the frontlets between your eyes.
Write the Torah on your doorposts.
Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah.
Circumcise your heart.
Cleave Yahuwah.
Swear by his name.
Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with.
Do not do what is right in your own eyes.
Do not hearken to the words of the false prophets.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead.
You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give to a stranger of clean food that died of itself, but you shall not eat of it.
You give tithe of your increase of seed year by year.
Laws of the end of the 7-year release.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from the poor.
Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates.
Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
Hearken unto the prophet Yahuwah has chosen.
Prophet test of Deuteronomy.
Do not move your neighbor's property line.
How to deal with a false witness among Torah keepers.
First child is get double portions.
If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost, and you find them, you must return them.
A woman should not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman.
If you find a bird's nest with the mother and the babies or eggs, take the babies, but not the mother.
If you build a new house with flower fields you live on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money.
The law of divorce.
Do not take a person's millstone for a pledge.
If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing before sunset if that was his pledge.
Oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Do not go back for the forgotten sheep in the field. Leave for the stranger, fatherless, and widow.
Do not muzzle your ox when you tread out grain.
If your brother dies and has a child, you shall take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother.
At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles.
All right, so there we are, guys. These are the greatest things that we have ever been given, and we've actually been given them to us. They're preserved in all the scriptures that we have. It doesn't matter really what translations you get at the base of it when you read the Torah. I don't think you'll get, I guess it does depend on the translation you get, but if you just are there to read the Torah, then the Torah is about the same, right? It's the same commands. And when you look at them, and, you know, a lot of people will say, you know, Jason, these laws should be on the cross, or they're not good. And I ask people, and nobody gives me any kind of answer. I say, which law is no good? Which one is harming our lives? Which one is something that if we do it differently is going to benefit us better? And I don't believe there's a single law. Let's say, for instance, you want to not harm the disabled. Boy, that sounds like a really bad idea, right? All of a sudden, now we got a whole bunch of people in wheelchairs and crutches, and you're going to have people kicking their chairs over and knocking their stuff, right? That's the laws of our Creator. They make sense, and they're absolutely very beautiful, and they're smart. How do we know the Jubilee year? I don't think we do know the Jubilee year. I don't think it's possible to actually know the Jubilee year at this point in life. I mean, everybody thinks they have a count on it, but all these guys that say it's a Jubilee year, they're all off of like Torah calendar, and Torah calendar is straight up. They do some crazy stuff at Torah calendar. So yeah, tough questions. No kidding. I don't know, Jeremy. I don't know. Do you have any idea out there? Anyone have an idea when they? I don't think we do. You know, I know what I do know is I know we're close to the end of 6,000 years. At some point, maybe in this lifetime or the next, Messiah's coming. That's what I know from scriptures. Where exactly we're at, I don't know. Yeah, and yeah, Jeremy, we've been all trying to figure it out. In fact, Nicole came up years ago and decided she was going to find the very first day of creation. She went through the book of Jubilees and Jasher and every other book and sat there and wrote notes. And I think like 9 months later, she came around and said, I have no idea. I couldn't tell you, really. And so it's tough. All right, so here we are, everyone. We are into the book of Leviticus. And for those who've been going through our Shabbat readings with us, we've gone all the way from Genesis all the way to where we're at right now. Jaden, give me a breakdown of where we are to this point, what has happened in the life of our brothers and sisters from the life of Yisrael back in the day. What do you got?
So we are out of sight of Egypt. We made from Egypt, we made to Mount Sinai. We're wandering the desert getting commands. The Levites are learning how to be Levites and what they should do. Aaron and his sons have all been anointed, and they are now learning what they have to do, that what they can and can't do. They have to marry pure women. They can't touch dead people unless it's really close relatives. They're supposed to be holy people. They're supposed to be people for Yah, that Yah knows as like his perfect people, because he doesn't want his priests to be unclean. So they have been learning how to do sacrifices, how to live their lives and what they should do, and how they don't really get a portion in the land. They get basically the 10% from the people. That was where the 10% was supposed to go, was to them.
Yeah, 10%. And so when you're taking money, you take $10 and you give it to some dude, some satanic priest in a 501c3 church on a Sunday. You're just offering your money off to Satan. You know, where's this stuff going to be? Will this video information be available later after to review and also study later? Thanks for clarifying. Yeah, so this will be live. This is stuck under the live on YouTube. Where you're watching it right now, it will be live. And yeah, we hate the time change too, sis. We don't know how to fix that for you guys. We didn't like it in the States, but here I guess it's just even worse. Now it's like an extra hour. But what we were talking about before I get into this is that we were thinking about going, I think 1 o'clock our time, which would have been 1 o'clock Eastern time, which would take you guys up. But the problem is you guys know our roof, right? And so the later that we go, the better chance we have of nobody ever being able to hear what we're saying, because our roof and the rain, and it gets kind of crazy. Okay, so let's get into this. There was something I was going to say. Oh, right before I get into this, guys, this whole Levitical stuff, this is very, 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 very important for us, right? It's all very, very important, because a lot of people don't understand our Messiah. They don't understand why he had to come, why he had to die, and what his purpose is. And his entire purpose was to replace this broken Levitical system. And it's broken, and I'm not saying it's broken because of the way Yah did it. It's broken because man had to atone themselves every time before they could atone themselves for the people of Yisrael. So you would have all these priests doing all this work, even on the Shabbat, but yet before they could ever do it, they had to go in there and they had to make a sacrifice for themselves. Because as people, we get dirty. We have unclean thoughts. We have bad thoughts. We have things that break Torah consistently, even though we try not to. And so when we are understanding what our Messiah's purpose was, number one, our Messiah's purpose was to walk the Torah perfectly. He had to walk Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy to perfection. It had to be that to qualify him as a sacrifice for us. He could not have gone to the stake as a man who was an adulterer, as a man who's a liar, as a man who's all of this stuff. He would not have been a proper sacrifice. And so we know, because of his sacrifice and because of his walk and the words that he says, that he was pro-Torah, pro his ways of the Father, and that if we want to be a part of his kingdom, that our Messiah will be running, then we need to be Torah observant people. So let us get into Leviticus 22. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, "Speak to Aaron and his sons, and that they separate themselves from the Kodesh offerings of the children of Yisrael, and that they do not profane my Kodesh name, in that they Kodesh to me. I am Yahuwah." All right, what did that say in that verse there, Jake?
That we are supposed to be holy. Everything they do is supposed to be holy. The way we bring Yahuwah is holy, and the people are holy.
And don't profane the name of our Creator, right? In how we represent ourselves to people outside, if we do things that make people wonder if our Creator is a good Creator, we are profaning the name of our Creator, right? If we're doing things that brings others into trouble based upon what we do, and it comes back on our Creator, we don't want to profane his name. Everything, especially in this sacrificial system that they were doing, it all had to be completely holy. It had to be clean. They had to do it in a proper way, a proper fashion. The priests were not in here willy-nilly just doing stuff. The ones that did stuff willy-nilly were the sons of Aaron, and they got a little bit sauced up, and they got burned up because they offered up strange fire to our Creator. And so this is why everything must be to perfection, or else you could literally die. Okay, 3. This is what our Creator is having Moshe say to them. Say to them, "Any man of your offspring throughout your generation who draws near the Kodesh offerings, which the children of Yisrael kadosh, to Yahuwah, while he has uncleanness upon him, that being shall be cut off from before me. I am Yahuwah." Okay, so this is a very, very important thing, that this is back in the day. We get it, it's back in the day. But to get near to this place where these people were, you couldn't be defiled, right? That's why we have all of these cleanliness laws. We have all of these different kinds of laws to make sure that we as a people are clean enough that we can exist in the presence of our Creator without Him being angry at us, right? You're not going to have the adulterer, fornicating guy that's going into the temple, because he will absolutely be cut off from among his people. Continuing on, any man of the offspring of Aaron who is a leper or has a discharge does not eat the Kodesh offerings until he is clean. And whoever touches what is rendered unclean by a corpse, or a man who has an emission of semen, or a man who touches any creeping creature by which he would be made unclean, or any being by whom he would become unclean, even any of his uncleanness, the being who has touched it shall not be unclean until evening, and does not eat the body, is not eat the Kodesh, shall bathe his body in water. There's a lot of these particular things that we as individuals do. Say for instance, out on the farm, when we used to kill cows, when we used to attempt to kill cows, we were unclean, right? When we're done with it, when we're unclean until the end of the day, until we bathe up, until we clean up. This is how it is with our Creator. He wants us to exist in a way that's not going to get us killed. Cutting out for anyone else. Let's see if let's make sure it's clear. It's Donna's having issues there. Anyone else? Can you guys hear us loud and clear with the roof tapping? Okay. All right, Sister Barb says it's okay. I think we're good. It's fine now. All right, let's continue on. And when the sun goes down, he shall be clean, and afterward eat the Kodesh offerings, because it is his food. He does not eat that which dies or is torn by any beast, becoming unclean by it. I am Yahuwah. And for those of us who go through these laws, statutes, and commandments every single week, these are things we know, right? We know we don't eat a beast that has been torn by other animals. We don't eat dead roadkill, right? That's not something that's what let the Gentiles do that. Let those who are okay going into a hospital and getting staph infection, having all sorts of sickness, that's who they should eat that stuff, because that's will make you sick. 9, and they shall guard my charge, lest they bear sin for it and die thereby when they profane it. I, Yahuwah, kadosh them. And no stranger eats the Kodesh offering. A sojourner with the Kohen or a hired servant does not eat the Kodesh offering. Okay, so this is all talking about feeding, who eats it, who doesn't eat it. You got to be pure, got to be people of our Creator that do this. 11. But when the Kohen buys a being with his silver, he eats of it. And one who is born in his house eats his food. What did that just say, fellas?
So basically, if you're part of the family, if you're born in the house, or you're like a slave that the Kohen purchased, that means you eat of the food.
Yeah. And one thing we read last time is that if you're a daughter of a Kohen and you go out and commit adultery, they don't just pick up the rocks. They pick up the kindling and they fire and they burn you to death. So it's a very huge responsibility being in a place of authority that people know that you're not out there being being trashy. Continuing on. But when a Kohen's daughter is a widow or put away and has no child and has returned to her father's house as in her youth, she eats her father's food, but no stranger eats of it.
I think you skipped 12.
Did I skip? Did I skip 12? All right.
Yep.
Hold on. Thanks. You guys can give me the nod before I get done with another verse. Okay. 12. Sorry, guys. I'm going back up one. And when a Kohen's daughter is married to a stranger, she does not eat of the Kodesh offerings. But when a Kohen's daughter is a widow or put away and has no child and has returned to her father's house, as in her youth, she eats her father's food, but no stranger eats of it. And this kind of reminds me of there's a lot of weird things. Like one of the kind of an odd one for all of us is the law of rape in Hebrew law. And when I first read this, I couldn't figure this thing out at all, and not figured out. And the law of rape is essentially if you're a man, you rape a woman, and she was a virgin, that you had to marry her, right? You didn't get beat. The father-in-law didn't hang you around the house or drag you behind the horses or something. You actually had to marry that woman after you had raped her. And I couldn't figure this out. It took me a long, long time. And then I started understanding what Hebrew culture was like. And that if a woman was raped, she is basically, she would be unclean. She would not be available for another man because of this. And in Israel, you're not going to go and just find this woman and marry her. It's against the laws. And so people that are victims of rape, if they did not have a law that made the man take care of that woman, then that woman for the rest of her life could have been homeless. When her parents died, nobody would be there to take her in. Nobody would be there to take care of it. The whole thing of Yisrael is that our Creator didn't want the broken. He didn't want to create an entire land with people that are just destitute because of something that they had no control over that happened to them. So it's one of these weird laws. But as we were reading this about a Kohen's daughter being a widow and things like that made me remember that. And it's also that, that as a representatives of our Creator, we have to act the job. We can't be these heretics and these people that say one thing and do another. It just doesn't make any sense. 14. And when a man eats the Kodesh offering by mistake, then he shall give a Kodesh offering to the Kohen and add 1/5 to it. So how do you think a man would make it by mistake? How would a man make this mistake per se?
He doesn't know it's that bread. He goes by and sees some bread and takes a bite of it. And
Maybe when David goes into the thing.
I mean, that wasn't a mistake though. He asked for it.
He was starving.
Yeah,
he was hungry.
It wasn't much of a mistake.
Interesting. Okay, and do not profane the Kodesh of the children of Yisrael, which they lift up to Yahuwah, or allow them to bear the wickedness or of trespass when they eat their Kodesh offerings. For I am Yahuwah, who kadosh them. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons and to all the children of Yisrael, and say to them, Any man of the house of Yisrael, or of the strangers of Yisrael, who brings his offering for any of his vows or for any of his voluntary offerings, which they bring to Yahuwah as a burnt offering for your acceptance, is a male, a perfect one from the cattle, from the sheep, or from the goats. And again, guys, all of the sacrifices our Creator has ever asked from anyone, we're talking perfected animals. And there's always been that thing that he's talked about. Hey, if you're going to give me the sick, the broken, the one with the gimp leg, or the one with like skin problems, he doesn't want it, right? That's not what this is about. It's about bringing the very best of what we have to a sacrifice for our blemishes, which is why our Messiah was absolutely accepted as our high priest, as our Melchizedek priest, as our sacrifice, as basically a keeper of the temple. He is the one who became all of this for us. And it came from this Levitical way, and why it's always amazing when we read the old scriptures and apply them to the new way that our Messiah is our Levitical priest. And we wouldn't want a man-made Levitical priest. We want we want our Messiah as our priest. We don't want somebody that has to go and make atonement for their own sins before they can even help us atone for ours. 20. Whatever has a defect, you do not bring, for it is not acceptable to you. And when a man brings a peace offering to Yahuwah to complete a vow, or a voluntary offering from the cattle or the sheep, it is to be perfect, to be accepted. Let there be no defect in it. I don't know if the chat is down, but it looks good. But guys, the rain is coming here, which is going to get wild. We're in partial hurricane season and partial wet season. Actually, it's full-on wet season. So the chat's not down that I can see. I see the Grand here. She was probably on our old calendar, on old time. Jeremy's still here. Yeah. All right, let's continue on. Those blind or broken or having a cut or have an ulcer or eczema or scabs, you do not bring to Yahuwah, nor make an offering by fire of them on the altar to Yahuwah. Okay, so there's a lot of animals, and a lot of animals have a lot of issues, right? There's a lot of things. We've seen them. We've had cows. What issues have we had with cows that we've had?
Well, they've had this weird like skin thing where like they got like these black spots on them. It seems like hard.
I mean, they're always running across barbed wire and then getting cut.
Getting cut, yeah. There's all sorts of stuff in there. Okay, okay. Here we go, guys. It's raining. It's another we can do. I hope you guys can hear it. 23. As for a bull or a lamb that has any limb deformed or dwarfed, you do not prepare as a voluntary offering, but for a vow it is not accepted. Do not bring to Yahuwah what is bruised or crushed or torn or cut. Guys, it's getting so loud here. Shut those windows, please. Huh? Yeah, I don't know if it's going to help either, guys. This might be a short one. It's not going to help at all. All right. And the problem is the internet kind of goes out with the rain too. So hopefully this will just be a quick little shower and that will be over. Let's roll. All right. Copy loud and clear. We're on. As for a bull or a lamb that has any limb deformed or dwarfed, you do not prepare as a voluntary offering, but for a vow, it is not accepted. So there's no things. At a better time. Yeah, I wish we could pick it up at a better time. Here we go. 25. And from a son of a stranger's hand, you do not bring any of these as the bread of your Elohim, for their corruption is in them, and defects are in them. They are not acceptable for you. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, when a bull or a sheep or a goat is born, it shall be 7 days with its mother. And from the 8th day and thereafter, it is acceptable as an offering made by fire to Yahuwah. But you do not slaughter a cow or a sheep and its young on the same day. There's a commandment right here, right? You do not slaughter a cow or a sheep or its young on the same day. And when you bring a slaughtering of thanksgiving to Yahuwah, bring it for your acceptance. It is eaten that same day. Leave none of it till morning. I am Yahuwah. And you shall guard my commands and do them. I am Yahuwah. And do not profane my Kodesh name. And I shall be Kodesh among the children of Yisrael. I am Yahuwah, who Kodesh you, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim to be your Elohim. I am Yahuwah. Okay, yes, praise him in the storm, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah, how rough, guys. All right, so guys, there we go with this. We're gonna continue on, and we're gonna hope that this storm will drift away and give us like 20 more minutes of peace here, hopefully. Let us get into this Matthew 22. Jade, can you come closer and give us a breakdown of what we're doing in Matthew?
So in Matthew, we had Yahushua. We have him going to his final days, doing his final things as he's ministering. He gets up on a colt and everyone starts praising him. This is like, everyone's saying like, King of Israel, come save us, Hosanna. And that upsets the Pharisees and the Sadducees even more. And then he gets into the temple and he starts driving people away with, he makes a whip and he starts taking out the tax collectors, taking out the people that are exchanging money in the temple of Yahuwah. And that upsets the Jews even more.
All right. First time we have static on YouTube, as Jeremy said. Okay, here we go, guys. Matthew 22. We're not going to let this happen. We're going to continue on and roll it. Okay, and Yahushua responded and spoke to them again by parables and said, the reign of the Shamayim is like a man, a sovereign, who made a wedding feast for his son, and sent out his servants to call those who were invited to the wedding feast, but they would not come. Again, he sent out other servants, saying, say to those who are invited, see, I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and fatted cattle are slaughtered, and all is ready. Come to the wedding feast. But they disregarded it and went their way. This one to his field, that one to his trade. And the rest, having seized his servants, insulted and killed them. But when the sovereign heard, he was wroth and sent out his soldiers, destroyed those murderers, and lit their city on fire. Then he said to his servants, the wedding feast indeed is ready, but those who were invited were not worthy. All right, guys, let's discuss this. Jade, anyone who wants to pull into this?
So this guy invites a whole bunch of people to this feast, the wedding feast.
What is this representing? What is this? Here, come closer to this thing. What is this representing exactly?
Well, the kingdom is representing the kingdom to come.
Yep. And so, what's happening?
And so this guy invites a whole bunch of people, and they say they can't make it. They say they won't do it. And then they send out search. Go find anyone. You can find a whole bunch of people, and they were not worthy. They shouldn't have been there. They're the wrong people.
You're too far ahead. We didn't go that far yet. Okay, so the very first people, this was a kingdom, right? And so Jade gave us a spoiler alert on this thing. Okay, so starting at 9, this says, therefore go into the street corners, and as many as you find, invite to the wedding feast. And those servants went out into the street corners and gathered all whom they found, both wicked and good. And the wedding hall was filled with guests. And when the sovereign came in to view the guests, he saw there a man who had not put on a wedding garment. And he said to him, friend, how did you come in here not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. Then the sovereign said to the servants, bind him hand and foot, take him away and throw him into the outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Let's talk the bottom line of this verse. For many are called, but few are chosen. All right, let's talk about this real quick, guys. This is the world that we live into right now, and hopefully I'm not yelling because I don't think I need to yell for you guys because I'm already loud enough. So I think I'll keep this about here. If I need to speak up a little bit, you guys know I got the pipes to make this happen. So I would just try to keep it down. So what we're talking about is we're talking about the kingdom of our Creator, that He has invited everybody, right? We have all been invited. If you are sitting here listening in, you have been invited. The people in the street are invited. Everybody is invited. Well, what is the invitation to? Well, the invitation is to a land that is full of righteousness, a land that is full of people that are willing to serve our Creator and be obedient to Him. It is the land that we have this invitation to. Now, how do we get this invitation? How do we get there? Well, looking at Revelation 14:12, it clearly says that those who are keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator are the ones who are saved. Now, this is it's a one-way piece as well, because without a Messiah, then we don't have the full understanding of the storyline that our Creator has given to us. And so we have been given the way forward. We have been given a book. We've been given these scriptures. We've been given the Torah. We have been given guidance. We have been given everything, and we are all invited to this wedding feast. Now, we have an opportunity to where we can be like the rest of the world. We can look like the rest of the world. We can taste like the rest of the world, and we can have this thing that we're all going to be saved. Jesus saves us all. Jesus is going to save us. Jesus is full of grace. He's full of mercy. He's full of all this stuff. And he is, but he's not going to give us grace and mercy if we're lawbreakers. He's going to send us to hell. This is by his own words. Matthew 7 says, if you are lawless, we're going to hell. So we have to understand that there are rules and regulations for this wedding. We can't come in our messed up duds. We can't come in clothes that have holes, and we have been called to the greatest thing that we can ever have, which is a call to eternity, a call to a kingdom, a call to a land where people are loving our Creator, loving his ways. The future family that all of us are going to inherit are incredible because they're people who love our Creator, and that's what we do. We love his ways, we love his words, and all of it. So we are chosen, but many are called, but few are chosen. And there's that same reiteration that we have. We've heard this before. We've heard about the gate. It's a big gate, but there's a path, and it's broad, that goes to the way of destruction. And again, Messiah says most people don't make it. Okay, so we are living in what they call the New Testament, the words that the Christians will only use, right? They only use from Matthew to Revelation, and everything else is stories for kids and things for other times. It doesn't matter to them. Why are only a few chosen? Because only a few abide. There's only a few people who are law keepers. Look around you. Look outside your doors. Look outside to the rest of this world. There is not people who are keeping the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator. They look just like the world. So most people are going to be denied. Continuing on, 15. Then the Pharisees went and plotted how to trap him in his words. And they sent to him their Talmudim with the Herodians, saying, Teacher, we know that you are true and teach the way of Elohim in truth, and it does not concern you about anyone, for you are not partial to any man. Then say to us, what do you think? Is it right to pay taxes to Kaiser or not? Okay, so right out of the gate, you have some people who are trying to get our Messiah set up. They're trying to get our Messiah on the wrong side of the law. And our Messiah very, very, very clearly is not going to be trapped in this. And so the question, and that would be the question to everybody, do we need to pay our taxes? What does Messiah say? 18. But knowing their wickedness, Yahushua said, why do you try me, you hypocrites? Show me the coin of the tax. And they brought him a silver piece. And he said to them, whose likeness and inscription is this? They said to him, Kaiser's. And he said to them, then give to Kaiser what is Kaiser's, and to Elohim what is Elohim's. And having heard, they marveled and left him and went away. All right, what do you make of this? Eli, what do you make of this? Give me something. Give me some stones of awesomeness. What do you make?
I'm not sure what to say here.
All right, he wasn't listening. Jake, give me some action.
He beat them there at their own game. They thought they could catch him and get him thrown in jail because they couldn't beat him inside Torah, so inside their own laws, so like maybe give him the Romans laws.
Yeah.
And since he said give to Kaiser what is Kaiser, that is Kaiser's face on there, technically his coin. So like pay him to his and pay what to Yahuwah's, and so follow the law and follow the law of the land because you have to or you're going to be punished.
Yeah, and so here's something for North Americans that I'm not saying you need to pay your taxes because there's no actual laws on the books that say you have to pay taxes. But if you don't, they take you up and wrap you up into jail. So that's welcome to North America. Okay, here we go. Let's continue on. And having heard, they marveled and left him and went away. On that day, Sadducees, who say there is no resurrection, came to him and asked, saying, Teacher, Moshe said, if anyone should die, having no children, his brother shall marry his wife and raise offspring for his brother. And there were with us 7 brothers. And the first died after he had married, and having no children, he left his wife to his brother. In the same way, the second also, and the third, unto the 7th, and last of all, the woman died too. At the resurrection then, whose wife of the 7 shall she be? For all had her. Okay.
That's somebody checking into the wife.
Yeah, this is, well, not checking the wife. She might be the Black Widow.
That's
but
what I said.
But we also know that the wife of Tobit had a demon. And how many husbands did that demon kill?
I think it was like 3 or 4.
There was a lot. I think it was like 6 or 7.
I thought it was 7.
I thought there were 7 because if you guys read the book of Tobit, which is in Yah Scriptures, it talks about the same demon, and this demon is actually named in the Testament of Solomon. So all of these little extracurricular Testament stuffs, it all comes together in all of this stuff. So the question is, if there's a woman that had 7 husbands, and they all died, whose husband would she be in the kingdom to come? And Yahushua answering them said to them, you go astray, not knowing the Scriptures nor the power of Elohim. For in the resurrection they do not marry, nor are they given in marriage, but are as messengers of Elohim in the Shamayim. All right, so there's a lot of stuff right here, a lot of breakdown, because a lot of people think that to death do us part is beyond the death do us part. And it seems very much when it comes to Scriptures that we don't have a marriage. It's not the same as we understand it. And it's not to say that we're not very close to the people we are with. I truly believe, based upon Scriptures, that the kingdom to come is with the people that were with us. My wife may not be my wife, but she's definitely going to be a soulmate. She's going to be somebody that I'm with for, whatever it is. I'm going to be hanging out with her. But is she going to be married to me? It doesn't seem like the kingdom needs marriage like this. It doesn't seem like we need that kind of bond that humans have, that humans need, that a man needs a helpmate, which absolutely, for any man out there, you need a helpmate, no doubt. You need a good helpmate. You need a Torah-based helpmate. And that is one of the greatest families you could ever find anywhere. So we're not going to have marriages in there. Very, very, very clear. Continuing on. Where are we at, guys? 30? 30? 29 or 30?
I think you're on
31.
Let's try 30 again. For in the resurrection they do not marry, nor are they given in marriage, but are as messengers of Elohim and the Shamayim. And concerning the resurrection of the dead, have you not read what was spoken to you by Elohim, saying, I am the Elohim of Abram, and the Elohim of Yitzchak, and the Elohim of Yaakov. Yahuwah is not the Elohim of the dead, but of the living. What does it say? What in the world does 32 just say, fellas?
So Yahuwah is the Elohim of the living. He's not of the dead. So
Yeah, these people are like, what do you got?
So these guys don't believe in resurrection at all. So
Yep.
he's saying that they shouldn't believe in like Yahuwah if they're not even going to believe in resurrection, because Yahuwah is Yahuwah of the living. He's not with like those who are dead.
Yeah, good. Very good. Thank you, Eli. Okay, 33. And when the crowds heard, they were astonished at his teaching. But the Pharisees, having heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, were grafted together. And one of them, one learned in the Torah, questioned, trying him and saying, Teacher, what is the great command in the Torah? Before we go into that, guys, let's talk about the Pharisees and Sadducees. The Pharisees and Sadducees are just a religious sect of religions. It's just like another religion. You got Catholics, Lutherans, Presbyterians, whatever. Go down the list. JWs, you name it. They're all man-made, traditional, doctrine-based religions. Not a single one of them holds any kind of sauce when it comes to the Scriptures. You don't worship on a Sunday. We don't have communion like they say we have communion. You don't worship on Easter. You don't worship on Christmas. You don't bring the phallus of Nimrod into your church on a Sunday for Christmas time and bow down to it. You don't have the phallus of Nimrod in your house. You don't get your kids bowing to their knees, right? Every single one of these things, it's very, very, very important. The Pharisees and Sadducees are just like every one of these false doctrines that came running to your door, knocking on the door, telling you to raise your hand at 8 years old and you're saved, or taking you off to the Kingdom Witness Hall, or whatever it is, right? They're against the Scriptures. So the question that we were asked by these so-called really educated, really astute religious sects were, which is the great command in the Torah? Now, this is a Christian conundrum. This is a absolute speed bump in the world of Christianity, because this is one of the very first go-to commands. They will tell you the Torah doesn't matter to them anymore. They don't need the Torah because Jesus got rid of the Torah, and we love God with all our heart and we love our neighbor as ourselves, and that's all this absolutely hinges on, and that's not what he says. Let's listen very, very closely. And Yahushua said to him, you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your being and with all your mind. This is first and great command. Now, is this new? Did Messiah just give us something new?
No.
We've heard this before. We've heard this over and over and over. We hear it in Deuteronomy. We read it this morning. In our Shema, we're to love our Elohim with all our heart, with all our mind, with all our being. Now, the question to all of you guys out there is, if you hate his laws, how can you love somebody? If you hate the words coming out of somebody's mouth and don't hold any kind of credit to them, then these guys are fools in your mind, right? How can you love somebody with all your heart, mind, and soul when you hate what they say? And that is what the Christians do. They're like, oh, we don't hate the commands, but we keep them all because we have our neighbor. We love our neighbor. We love God. And you're like, but you hate his laws. Yeah, they don't apply to us. None of this ever applies to us. So continuing on, the first and great command. Now continuing on, the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commands hang all the Torah and the Nevi'im. Okay, let's talk about this right here. Anybody want to take this? Take this away, any boys?
These two commands where everything is basically.
Are these the only two commands that we have?
No.
Why?
But these two commands solidify everything, because if you love your neighbor, you're not going to endanger him. If you love your neighbor, you're not going to harm the Sable. If you love Elohim, you're not going to eat pork. You're not going to
eat blood.
Break his
mention
commands.
pagan
Yeah.
names. You're not going to eat the blood. You're not going to defile your sister. You're not going to do any of that.
So the first and the greatest command is to love our Creator with all our heart, mind, and soul. But if we don't love his words, then by default, we're liars. And the second one is that we love our neighbor as ourselves. And this is not all of the Torah commands, but if you truly kept these two commands, then you would be right on track of the Torah, because you wouldn't, like Cade said, you would not hurt your neighbor, you would not endanger him, you were not going to look at your family naked, right? That hurts your neighbor. All of these things, anything you do outside of scriptures hurts yourself, hurts your neighbor, and hurts our abilities to get to the kingdom. It's just how it is. 41 says this, and when the Pharisees were gathered together, Yahushua asked them, saying, what do you think concerning Hamashiach? Whose ben is he? They said to him, of David. Okay, what is the question saying, Jaden?
Who do we think the Messiah is? Whose son do we think he is?
Yeah, well, and that's who is the son of the creator of the universe. And they said to him, of David, right? Who's the son of David? They always call the son of David Messiah Yahushua. That is who the son of Adam, this is just defining our creator. Whose ben is he? 43 says this. He said to them, then how does David in the Ruach call him Adonai, saying, Yahushua said to Adonai, Yahuwah said to Adonai, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. If then David calls him Adonai, how is he his son, his ben? And no one was able to answer him a word. And from that day on, no one asked him any more questions. Okay, let's talk about this.
This is not worth the headache no more.
Yeah, let's talk about this particular part, right? What does it say? What does it say, Jade?
So he said, David calls him Adonai. He calls him master. It was, how can he be the son of David if he calls him master?
Yeah, and that's the thing is Messiah traps these guys in words of all of this. And what he was trying to get is he is the son of the Most High. These guys did not believe he was the son of the Most High. They did not believe this. To this day, they do not believe this. And so there's a lot of things when you are questioning our Messiah, that because our Messiah lived with his dad prior to creation, and this was another thing I was talking to Don about, is that in the realm of Trinity, everybody thinks Messiah and his dad are the exact same thing, but it's not such. There's no such thing in that. And so when we are talking about the Torah, we're talking about a set of words that were built before creation. When we're talking about Messiah Yahushua, the son of the Most High, we're talking about a son of the Most High who was born before creation was created. Those two existed prior to this. I believe the son of the Most High grew up with his dad in that realm before he was ever to the point where he was a representative of the entire human race, right? And so this is very, very important that we get the divinity of our creator right, our divinity of his son, right? Understanding that they are not the same individuals. The creator of the universe did not come and die at the hands of Ha-Satan. The creator of the universe let his son die at the hands of Ha-Satan to fulfill the purpose, to complete the story, to give us the final pieces and give us a Levitical priest that is righteous, that is holy, that is willing and ready to take us in the kingdom to come. But we're not going to make the kingdom to come if we're lawless. We're not going to make this kingdom to come if we are those people who just don't care about the ways of our creator. And so it is with that I believe that we should be wrapping this up. If nobody has anything in the chat room, it's been a pleasure. It's been an amazing time. I thank you guys very, very much. Thank you all for the support that you always give us in our family. I don't say thank you guys enough. There's a lot of comments that come in. We have a lot of people that we consider more family than any blood family that we ever have, by far. And so we love you all out there. We hope that you guys have a wonderful Shabbat. We hope that you guys are keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, or you're writing them onto your heart, mind, and soul. It's not a fast walk, guys. It's not something, especially where folks like Donna are waking up. And all of a sudden, we've been deceived for generations, some of us for decades, and we don't know what to think. The answers are in the books. The book, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. And it is inside that book that we can understand how our world is going to be, what eternity is going to be like. And so much love to everybody out there. We thank you guys very, 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 very much for being part of this family. It is an honor, again, to be here with you guys. And let's, much love to all. Yeah. Yeah, and so Joan says she wants to give us all a big hug. We'd love to give you guys, if there's a way we could give virtual hugs, we would totally be sitting here hitting that virtual hug button right now. We love you all. Have a wonderful Shabbat. And Jade, will you please bless our people?
Yahuwah barak you and guard you. May his face shine upon you and show his favor to you. He will lift his face upon you and give you peace. Thus I shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I myself shall barak them.
All right, fam. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May his light forever shine on you. May the grace and the love of the Torah be forever part of your life. And may we all high-five each other in the kingdom to come. Much love to you all. We'll talk to you again.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.